All right, Cancer, thanks for tuning in to your February of 2015 horoscope. My name is Athan. All right, so last month in January, we had a lot of emphasis in your 7th house of relationships, one-on-one connections, partnerships, these kinds of things. Still going to be somewhat of the emphasis for the first half of this month, but a very strong emphasis this month in your 8th house in February. So this is about transformation, it's about change, it's about beginnings, it's about stepping into that spiritual power to want some change and new beginnings in your life. And you as Cancers, the 8th house is pretty, it's a beneficial house for you being a water sign that you are. So you're open to the transformation, you're open to the change and these types of things, which is very good, because when we resist change, obviously that's why the 8th house is talked about so often in terms of, death and loss and all these things, that not that it's associated with it, but when we hold on too tight to the way things are, then that's what we experience. So it's about being open to change, being open to transformation, seeing how beautiful it is that the universe is constantly changing and moving, and there's growth and there's these beautiful things that are coming about from that, and embracing that and really enjoying that part of life. And on a mundane level, it's about getting deeper with what you're doing, getting deeper with your relationships, deeper with your work. If you don't have that deep connection to what you're doing and those people in your life, then what's the point? And this is the part of the year and part of the whole transit cycle of you wanting to get deeper, because that's what's most meaningful and that's what's really important to you Cancers anyways. So it all starts off with Venus going conjunct over Neptune, and this is in that 8th house. Venus has already been there for the last part of January, so like I said, you've been enjoying it. And so this is a good compassionate energy here. It's about the spiritual compassion and connection to people and things on that deep level. You've had Neptune in that 8th house, which is spiritualizing this whole process. You guys, through this transformational process, you're finding it very peaceful as an end result. With Neptune in the 8th house, it's essentially showing you, look, there's a way here for you to have change and have this presence and peace and go with the flow with it. Like, things don't need to be held on too tight, not suggesting that you are, but this is sort of the lesson of Neptune, is just let go. And then when you do that, naturally there's this flow and symphony of the universe of change that you can ride the wave and be a part of. So this is a strong emphasis here, but it's very, very positive with Venus, is enjoying it and tapping into that compassionate energy. And for those of you involved in those deep relationships, which is all relationships can be very deep, you have this Venusian sort of connection to it, this unconditional love, unconditional acceptance, which can be very beneficial on your path as well. Now on the 3rd, we've got the full moon taking place in your 1st house. And so this is really illuminating perhaps a lot of the goals and ambitions and things that you guys have maybe been working on for the past 6 months since around your birthday, for those of you watching your sun sign. But in either case, over the past 6 months, maybe you've been involved in working on some things that were about your goals, your ambitions, your drives in life. This is what the 1st house symbolizes, the things that you want, that you desire. And so this can be a culmination time of that, but overall, just generally a time of really understanding your motivations and your goals and what's important to you. And again, I think it's very strongly associated with that 8th house. So reflect around the 3rd in terms of it, having that full awareness and seeing that good security that these goals and ambitions, when you're moving towards that direction, you guys feel good. That's what the 1st house is all about. Now on the 6th, we've got an opposition, Sun opposite Jupiter, but positive opposition, needing to balance your 1st house and 7th house. So while there's this emphasis perhaps on you for the first part of this month, it's about not forgetting about your relationships, of course. And you guys are naturally good at this anyway. So just balancing relationship with self, making sure that you're concerned for other people as while you're putting this energy into your personal goals and stuff. So pretty obvious there, but lots of optimism too. I think with Jupiter in your guys' 1st house, you guys are feeling very good, very buoyant in terms of your goals and stuff, which is going to be a very positive energy for you. Just make sure you're, of course, staying balanced with your relationships. Now on the 8th, we've got Venus going over Chiron. So again, with this transformation, there could be some definite healing taking place here. On some level, perhaps your relationships are going to be going through a change and transformation this month. So this is when it can really start to feel good, because Chiron is about, once we do a particular thing, we go through that process, there's that healing result. And that's what this is signifying. It's perhaps involved with, specifically with your relationship. So very positive energy there when, again, you're willing to go through the changes and transformations that are needed. Now we've got Mercury going station direct in that 7th house on the 11th. So like I said, back in January, the emphasis was on relationships, and perhaps a lot of you have been reflecting on them, or on one in particular. And so that's going to continue to be important for you to implement up until the 11th. Think about them. See how you can improve the relationships, how they can, overall just what you're learning from them, whatever it is. And then when he goes station direct around the 11th, it's starting to put that energy into motion. All those things you learned during the retrograde period and starting to apply it. So perhaps there's a shift there, perhaps there's a change with relationships, but it's all coming from something you learned or something you've been improving and working on in that sector. So very positive energy there. Now on the 12th, we've got Mars going into Pisces and the Sun going into Aquarius. So there's a shift here on the 12th, and it's starting to implement the transformational element even more in terms of, okay, there's elements of you that are transforming. Because from the 8th to the 9th house, we go from the deep emotional, getting into the core, the depth, and then the 9th is the expansive. It's also where the center of the galaxy is astrologically. So as the planets pass through here, all of a sudden there's this expansive element of expansion, and this is mental, physical, spiritual, and like I said, even traveling and things that are abroad. So good energy here from the 12th onward with Mars in that 9th house. Could be traveling, it could be philosophical studies, it could be just tapping into the adventurous side of your spirit, really. Any of these things that you consider adventurous and expansive, utilize those, put energy into them from the 12th and into March, because that's where Mars is going to be unlocking that good, strong motivational force for you. Now with the Sun going into Aquarius, this is where things start to transform more from relationships and into the deeper side of life, but with the Sun there, it's illuminating it, being able to see it and connect to it, in that vital life force energy. It could be very romantic too. A lot of you can be getting very deep and romantic with a partner, or it could just be, like I said, being passionate about the deeper elements of life. So, that's going to be very nice. That's going to lead you into March, having that good passion and vital life force saying, I want to make these changes, or I want to connect to these things on this deep level, and feeling really good when you do. Now on the 15th, we've got Venus then going into that Pisces, the 9th house for you. So while enjoying, the transformational elements of life, I think you're going to be very aware of why that's the case. Because with Venus going into the 9th, it's seeing the expansion. So it's not like there's all of this emphasis on your 8th house. There's also a lot of emphasis in terms of the adventurous, expansive side. So it's a good balance here between these two elements, especially for the second half of the month from the 15th onward, when Venus goes into that 9th house. Connect to people abroad, connect to your spiritual studies. All of these 9th house things you'll find very enjoyable, and also a great way to connect to others and perhaps meet others as well. Now on the 18th, we have the new moon taking place in that 8th house, so definitely some new beginnings here shaping up there. Could be a brand new awareness of the deeper side of life or something in particular. So reflect around the 18th, and I think a lot of you are going to be starting something new there. It could also be occult studies as a sort of practical element to this. Also, shared resources is another element on a practical level as well. Perhaps some of you deciding to release yourself from some debts. Perhaps deciding to start some joint ventures where you're understanding a very good, healthy dependency on others in terms of what you're doing. Whatever it is, very nice energy in that 8th house leading you into March with that new moon there. Now on the 21st and 22nd, we've got Venus going over Mars in that 9th house, very passionate again of that 9th house adventurous spirit. Tap into it, especially from the 21st and 22nd, because Venus is the feminine energy, Mars is that masculine energy, and they're coming together. And so this is very passionate, very energetic, physically enjoying what you're doing. Get involved, do some traveling perhaps, do some of those philosophies, bring others into it, go traveling with a friend or with your partner. Merging relationships and this whole expansive element of your life is, like I said, going to be very beneficial. But around the 21st and 22nd, you can find that very, it's that heart-pounding, physically, enjoyable process, and perhaps even doing something physically active in regards to it as well. Now on the 25th, we've got the last aspect of the month. The Sun is going to be going over Neptune in that 8th house. So like I said, you guys going through this sort of spiritual transformation right now at the moment. The Sun's going to go over Neptune in that 8th, so this is becoming very aware of it, perhaps what that awareness, that transformation is, and seeing it very clearly. When the Sun goes over Neptune, it's having a sort of a clarity and understanding, and also again that compassion too, implementing that compassion into all areas of your life. All right, Cancer, so let's go and draw a card and see where Spirit would like a little more emphasis for you in February. Pisces, all right. So that's what this whole shift is taking place in terms of your guys' ninth house. It's the ruler of Pisces, and you've had the South Node there. So there's this perhaps, you know, this not so much focus in terms of your life path. You know, with the South Node, it's releasing, you know, and so continue to release and just kind of go with the flow in terms of how your path is unfolding this month. Even though you're going to have Mars there, it's still Pisces, it's still the South Node, you're going to have Venus there. So I think this is a reminder from Spirit to just release, go with the flow, take that nice, you know, stop to smell the roses, stop to smell the flowers, take it nice and easy, allow the universe to carry you, allow your path to carry you where it's supposed to be, and don't focus too much in terms of what you want, what your ego wants, what your drive. So even though the first half of the month was very much about that, second half of the month is about taking a little bit more of a back seat and allowing the universe to guide you. All right, Cancer, well, I hope you guys have a great month. I want to thank you all for your support. If you'd like this video and if you'd like to help spread the message of Sidereal Astrology, please like this video. You can also share it. Comment below in terms of your experiences this month or what you might be expecting in February. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. I also do daily, weekly, and yearly horoscopes. And if you'd like a personal reading, please get in touch. All right, I hope you guys have a great month. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.